As the zombie threat continues to work its way closer and closer to Earth 2, the heroes will need to come together and get creative if they ever hope to survive the onslaught. All this and more on the pages of Dceased, War of the Undead Gods, issue number 6. Let's hop on it together and find out what happens next, shall we? So then, as we join this newest issue, we actually get to check back on in with Lobo. It seems that some of the last well-off intergalactic leaders want to hire him to save the universe. Not that the main man cares all that much. He's not interested in money or even saving the universe just because he lives in it. However, his tune quickly changes when the alien leaders promise to use all of their technology and resources to allow Lobo a decadent, debaucherous buffet upon the completion of this most dangerous mission. In fact, what Lobo wants is so vile and unspeakable it's actually censored within the dialogue balloons. Now back over with Superman and the others, things were going from bad to worse. Kilowog is dead, and so is his entire planet. Clark is horrified to once again be forced to have to watch as a planet dies, knowing full well that there was nothing he could do about it. Which, I mean, seriously, Krypton, Original Earth, that's like 3 planets now. I think if he gets another dead planet, he gets a free sandwich. There's also still the not-so-little matter of the Specter duking it out with the anti-life infected Mr. Mxyzptlk. These two beings of immense powers' battle is so intense, it's actively ripping black holes all around them. And if the situation wasn't dire enough, these two titans actually seem to be evenly matched, meaning there's no telling how long this battle could go on for and how much damage they could actually do by the time it's all said and done. Now, back on Earth, John and the other remaining heroes are weighing their options. They hope if they can rush more antidote out the door, they might be able to stem the tide of infection. As Green Arrow is quick to say, though, it's going to be pretty hard to try and give medicine to a bunch of flesh-eating monsters who want to kill you. But then again, it's not like they can sit back and do nothing, and it's not like anyone has come up with a better idea yet to deal with this problem. That's not the only pressing matter either. Let us not forget Mr. Miracle and Big Barda. They still hope to try and find their son amidst all this chaos, but that's gonna have to wait as Brainiac accidentally brings in one of those infected mother boxes in just enough time for Highfather and the other New God zombies to make landfall on Earth. Geez, Brainiac, that's quite the blunder from someone who claims to be such an intellect. If I didn't know any better, I would say you did that on purpose. This newest apocalyptic setback means Lois and the others are forced to once again get the rest of humanity back on the arcs in hopes of evacuating Earth. Sadly, not everyone makes it to the ships in time, as poor Leslie Tompkins ends up getting hit and turned into a monster during the retreat. Because isn't it always the nice ones who would never hurt a fly who always end up suffering the most in stories like these? Oh, but we're not done yet, because back with Superman, Clark knows full well that they can't let a zombie Mixie run wild throughout the universe, what with his ability to warp reality. Superman is more than prepared to risk life and limb for one last charge at the creature, in doing so offering the Specter the split second he needs to actually end the battle with Mixie. In fact, it's also here for a moment too. Everyone can hear the voice of Erebus, the villain who actually has been pulling the strings on this whole zombie threat from the beginning, but who always seemed to be just out of sight. Also, while giant zombie Mixie may have been defeated before he kicked it, though, he was sure to separate Jim Corrigan from the Specter, meaning the poor guy ends up dying in space. Just add that to the ever-growing list of people poor Superman is forced to watch die before his very eyes. And let's be real, it's not like things are going that much better back on Earth. Damian Wayne heroically stands between Highfather and Alfred, even though he's just a regular old human fighting against an actual undead god. The new Batman fights valiantly, but ends up getting his bell rung for maybe the last time ever. It's at that moment Alfred calls out in a rage, saying that he refuses to let anyone take another one of his beloved sons away from him. And you know what? It's at that very moment the Butler's cry for vengeance is heard by a higher power, as he ends up becoming the newest vessel for the Specter. Meaning that perhaps Earth 2 isn't nearly as screwed as it might have seemed as the comic comes to a close. And so there you have it, everyone. That was Dceased, War of the Undead Gods, issue number 6. Another rip-roaring, action-packed, heartstring-pulling zombie horror epic courtesy of Tom Taylor. At this point, I know I kind of feel like a broken record talking about this series, but it's true. Every time I think Tom Taylor has really taken away all hope and made everything as dire as possible, there's always just that little shred of light and little shred of hope to keep you going. Everyone kind of shares the spotlight in these DC stories because they're really more about the universe as a whole as they are about any one individual hero, but I would say this one really has been about Alfred in a cool way. And I do kind of love the idea that when the chips are down and when the literal gods of this universe have become flesh-eating monsters, it's actually the regular old butler who ends up making all the difference. Overall, I feel comfortable giving this one another very much deserved 8 out of 10. again. I feel like this newest version of Deceased hasn't been nearly as talked about or promoted as some of the past entries in the series, but still it continues to be really quality stuff. And with only a couple more issues to go, I wonder how they're going to tie together a bunch of these different hanging plot threads they've been dealing with.
Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.